We spend a ton of time thinking about what's inside our homes. The furniture, the paint, the family photos. But what about the single most important thing protecting all of it? Yeah, we tend to overlook it, but high above our heads, there's an unsung hero working 24/7. Your roof? It's not just some covering. It's the first and most important shield standing between your family and everything the weather can throw at you.
I mean, really stop and think about that for a second. The next time a big storm rolls in, when the wind is just howling and the rain is coming down sideways, what is the one thing, the only thing, protecting everything you own? Understanding what your roof is truly up against is, without a doubt, the first step to making sure it can actually do its job.
So if we're going to figure out how to protect that roof, we've got to know what we're up against, right? We need to identify its enemies. And believe me, it's in a constant battle against forces that are a lot more varied than you might think.
All right, first up, the most relentless attacker of all, the sun. Especially in climates that get hammered with extreme heat, those 100-degree-plus summers that go on for weeks, that intense UV radiation is literally baking your asphalt shingles. It makes them crack and curl and lose those little protective granules, and that just dramatically shortens their lifespan, leaving your home wide open.
And then you've got these sudden, really violent attacks. I'm talking about hailstorms that can drop ice balls capable of punching holes right through standard roofing materials. It's no joke. They also put these huge dents in metal vents, panels, and flashing, creating the absolute perfect weak spots for water to sneak its way in later.
And of course, we can't forget about wind. High winds from major storms don't just lift and rip shingles right off the roof. But here's the sneaky part. High winds can actually drive rain sideways, horizontally, forcing water up and under the shingles and into your home, especially around things like vents and skylights.
Okay, so you've got the obvious attacks from the sky, but there are also these hidden threats working against your roof. In the winter, you have freeze-thaw cycles where tiny bits of moisture get into cracks, freeze, expand, and just split materials apart from the inside. In some places, the ground itself, like shifting clay soils, can put stress on your whole house. And maybe the biggest, most silent killer of them all? Trapped heat and moisture in your attic from bad ventilation, which can literally rot your roof structure from the inside out.
So now we know the enemy. But how can you tell if your roof is actually losing the fight? Let's dive in how you can basically become a detective for your own home, spotting those little warning signs before a tiny problem turns into a total catastrophe.
And hey, you don't need to be a pro to spot these clues. Next time you clean your gutters, look for a bunch of black sandy stuff. Those are the granules, the protective layer of your shingles, just washing away. From the ground, look up and see if any shingles are curling up at the edges or look kind of bubbly. And of course, missing shingles or a roof that looks like it's sagging in the middle, those are major red flags. Oh, and keep an eye on those wooden fascia boards along the roofline for any signs of rot.
And this is something you absolutely need to remember. If you see a water stand on your ceiling, the damage is already significant. The problem is already punched through all of your roof's defenses. And to make it even trickier, the actual leak could be way over on the other side of the roof because water loves to travel along beams and rafters before it finally decides to drip down.
Okay, look, spotting those signs can be pretty alarming, I get it, but don't panic. There's a clear playbook for tackling this head-on. Let's break down what a professional roof rescue looks like, step by step, so it all makes sense.
So, any good professional job is going to start with a super thorough inspection where they document everything with photos. Step 2 is huge. That's where you select the right materials for your climate and, really importantly, coordinate with the insurance adjusters. Then you get to the main event. The old roof gets torn off, they make any repairs to the structure underneath, and then the new roof goes on, followed by a super careful cleanup. And the final step is always a final walkthrough and an official inspection to make sure everything's done right and is up to code. Let's pause on that insurance piece for a second, because this is so important. After a big storm, documenting the damage properly is everything. Having detailed photos of exactly how hail hit your roof or precise measurements of wind damage, that can be the difference between getting a check for a tiny patch job and getting a check for a brand new roof. It's a huge deal.
All right, so you know the threats, you've got a plan. Now for the fun part, choosing your armor. Let's talk about the materials and the standards that make a modern roof a truly awesome shield for your home.
So really, the two biggest players in the game are metal and asphalt shingles. Asphalt is what you see most often. It costs less to get started and repairs are cheaper, but you're probably only going to get 15 to 25 years out of it. Metal? Yeah, it's going to cost you more upfront, no doubt,
but it lasts way, way longer. It reflects heat better, which is a huge win in hot climates, and it just stands up to wind and hail way better.
See that number? 110 miles per hour. That's not just a suggestion. That's what modern building codes are starting to demand in a lot of storm-prone areas. And it's not just about what the shingles are made of, it actually changes how the roof is installed. We're talking 6 nails per shingle instead of the old standard of 4, especially on the edges where the wind tries to lift it up the most.
Okay, if there's one industry term you should write down and remember, it's this: Class 4 impact resistance. This is the absolute highest rating a roofing material can get for hail damage. Basically, to get this rating, the shingle has to survive getting a 2-inch steel ball dropped on it from 20 feet up without cracking. And here's the kicker: choosing Class 4 materials can often get you a pretty nice discount on your homeowner's insurance. Who doesn't love that?
So, all of this brings us back to one final, really important question you need to ask yourself. After seeing all the forces at play and the kind of defenses that are out there, take a hard look at your own home. Is your roof a strong shield, a fortress ready for anything? Or is it just hiding a weak link, just waiting for the next big storm to break? The answer is right above your head.